Earlier this year, we had a great 2-day in-person event for futures traders, and I want to share the insights and the conversations as well as the presentations that we had across those 2 days. But first, I want to give a special shout out to the sponsor of the event, as well as the sponsor of the streams every morning, Top One Futures. You can always find the links down below and get the best deal on their instant fundeds and their new Sim Pro accounts with code Evan. So make sure you guys check that out down below and give them a big thanks for always supporting the videos as well as the in-person events. Now enjoy the insights, the conversations, the presentations from these 2 days events. I'll see you guys on the charts tomorrow morning.
Is anyone up over $3,000? One person? Close? I'm up 1,500. That don't count, bro. That don't count. So Evan's one of the bigger P&Ls of the morning right now. So go ahead, Ev.
Yeah, so first off, it's 1,000 per account. I'm not risking 3,000 per account. It was actually 2 trades, so I scalped a short off of the New York VWAP in blue, just to the downside, because on the bottom in black, I don't want to fade the 15-minute overnight VWAP, because I think we could still want to be bullish, but with the NFP setting us so much higher pre-market, expecting some sort of pullback to where I'd want to buy it, which was that black overnight VWAP. So quickly, kind of similar to Tanner's, I did like it. I checked it out once he was in it. Of the same long idea off that overnight VWAP, just anchored to the changeover of day, back into the trend continuation, because that's just the trades that I do better, rather than trying to scalp it down against the trend, trying to find the next leg of the trend, which is back to the upside. But this is on ES. I like to just a little bit better on NQ because it was just sitting more sideways. See if I can pull that up.
Yeah, you can move it around. You can close that bottom panel if you want. Yeah, that looks really nice. Look at the double bottom on opening range low.
Yeah, so I'm scalping ES, but by the time I'm out of that one, seeing NQ hold up and not being able to pull back so much as ES was, I'm comfortable taking along once buyers step in above that blue VWAP, and I have a clear stop loss at the low of day, already out of my short on, like I said. So I don't normally flip-flop either both assets and both directions. Maybe it's just because I was here that I quickly scalped it to the bottom, saw that that wasn't running, and quickly scalped it back up to the top, because that's the one I probably like better, because there's a clear bottom here. There's a clear direction on the 15-minute that I wanted to be long anyways. So this is more of the trend continuation. I could see this thing going on forever. Where to the downside, the most I would see it going is that overnight VWAP, which is what we did do.
Who would take this trade I have on screen? Based on the opening range already being set, you're risking 62 to make 35. Who's taking that trade? Yes? He took the trade? Yes? Yes? So now we'll get into this whole conversation about 1R not mattering as much. When you are playing a strategy, if you can get your stats to 65 plus win rate, that 1R starts to become less and less. Last year, my entire year win rate was 76%. At 76%, you mathematically do not need to make 1-to-1 on all your trades to still be profitable and take payouts. Lou's looking confused. Lou, why are you confused? Okay, good. Just making sure. Just you're resting confused face. It's okay. Who would take this trade? Looking at it now after what I just said, who would take it? Why? Sinead. Why would you take it? That answer. What I would say is like Evan's point. You see the dotted line, the overnight VWAP? You don't really want to fight that. You don't want to trade against that VWAP. So while I made some money short on these little scalps in the range, the bigger move, like Tanner was trading, is in this trend higher. So to take advantage of that and see that, you want to use that overnight VWAP and then use that New York VWAP. Once the buyers stepped in and higher lows are coming off that double bottom, yeah, the risk reward here is 0.6. But based on studying this and trading this and knowing how opening ranges work, if we're bullish, we're most likely to give me something more out of the top. And I'm probably going to close it when it slows at the top and then trail the stop and try to catch a little bit more. But moves just don't usually sustain and run all day. To our point of like, take what you get. Good.
Yeah, and I'd even say that more so for a counter trend. I was on ES for the shorts, but just imagine on a short, if I'm not near the blue VWAP shorting it and I jump in maybe a little bit late, since it is counter trend, there's not that much follow through, so it could be tougher for any of us to even scalp less than 1R if you don't get a perfect entry, perfect exit. But when I'm buying it on the break above the New York VWAP, buyers are back in, and the trend is bullish, you don't want to just jump in wherever. But if you are a little bit late or a couple candles late, you could still see money to the upside because it's more likely to run further that direction because that's at least in the direction of trend, where with the shorts, they're sometimes short-lived, so your price really could make the difference on if you make money out of that or not.
What I would add to that is if you look at YM, which Tanner was in, right? You look at NQ, You look at ES. ES is kind of sitting in between because ES is how many stocks? Oh my God. Fucking say it louder. Thank you. Holy fuck. You really don't know that, people. That's really bad. Like, I need a minute. So the reason ES is a little bit more in between what YM looks like and what NQ looks like is because there's 500 stocks in it. There's overlap. They're not all weighted the same, but there's overlap. NQ is all tech. So as tech trends higher, we'll pull on the ES. Can you go click the arrow twice down to go to YM? But look at YM because of these other stocks it has. Look at how different that looks. Tanner said he thought it was going to go higher again. Not so much because it has these other stocks in it that can act completely different. Maybe Caterpillar's earnings came out last night and they fucking suck. And YM's taking a dump. Do you know how much weight Caterpillar is in ES? 0.00 something. You get what I'm saying? Is this making sense? Questions about this? So then when you look at this, to Tanner's point, click through all three again. Now let's play hindsight. Remember, opening range shows 930. Which one of these three looks the best to trade today?
I like NQ just because it set a clear bottom, at least around that New York VWAP, where, like what Tanner was saying, and I would agree with all three being slightly divergent or just not completely running in tangent right at the open. I don't either really trade those days the best either, because ideally, if we're trending higher across all three indices, yeah, we probably continue higher. But on the days where we're indecisive and NQ's pumping higher, but ES is actually falling, first off, that's why ES is moving slow, and I don't want to trade something that's not moving. But it's also making me wonder, well, which one will maybe ES end up following? Will it drop down with YM, or will NQ carry that higher? I don't really want to have to guess or predict. So when they're all three running higher, makes it pretty simple to just say, okay, I'm probably going to want to see this come higher as well.
And who had earnings last night? Two of the biggest tech companies in the world. What were the reactions to the earnings overnight? Higher. So now market open comes in. We usually trend. What is the? Does anyone know Brian Shannon's like most famous thing? Trends most likely to that are established or most likely to continue. Trends most likely, or trends once established are most likely to continue. I'll say it one more time because I'm like retarded. Said it funny. Trends that are established are most likely to continue. How many people try to call reversals once markets move higher? How many people want to short this? What did I just say? What is the trend? The trend is up. Trends once established are most likely to? There we go.
But it's too high.
But it's too high.
It is too high.
So we're going to get into TradeZella stuff here and a few markups that dive deeper into this VWAP. But I want you to see here, everybody, one thing that I like to do every morning is watch the Mag 7. Tanner should be watching the heaviest 7 or 10 stocks in the Dow every morning. Because if he's trading YM and 5 of the stocks that are weighted heavy are up and 5 are down, you think he's going to have clear trend? You think he's going to have good trades? Yes or no? No, probably not. That's indecisive. Versus you have good earnings on the 2 biggest tech companies. The market moved up pre-market. The market moved up overnight. Now the market's open. Where do you think we probably go on those tech companies and on that index that's weighing those tech companies heavier?